Our Stuart Hall education comes from the tradition of Schools of the Sacred Heart as part of the Religious of the Sacred Heart, founded in France by Saint Madeleine Sophie Barrat, who lived from 1779 to 1865. Sacred Heart education began as a way of educating young girls to live up to their potential by caring for each and every student. The Sacred Heart belief in every child was carried on through St. Rose Philippine Duchesne, who brought Sacred Heart schools to the United States in 1818. Our school, Stuart Hall High School, is named for Janet Erskine Stuart, who lived from 1857 to 1914, the Superior General of the Religious of the Sacred Heart, and attempts to continue the legacy of her orders of sisters through our care and attention to each individual student. Stuart Hall education mirrors Pope John XXIII's encyclical Pacem in Terris, as he writes, "He has the natural right to share in the benefits of culture and hence to receive a good general education and a technical or professional training consistent with the degree of educational development in his own country." The Schools of the Sacred Heart promote a full, expansive education to craft young men and women who are ready to take on the world. Part of Stuart Hall's Sacred Heart tradition, the goals and criteria provide the backbone for how our school operates. The reason behind the teachers and students coming to school every day is embedded in each of the 5 goals and elucidated by means of the criteria. I personally have realized how much Goal 2 has shaped my years at Stuart Hall. A deep respect for intellectual values doesn't come overnight. I didn't wake up one morning as a senior and all of a sudden respect the beauty of knowledge. Rather, I have had to take a long journey of classes and learning material that I might not have enjoyed. However, every minute of learning I've engaged with at Stuart Hall has brought me slightly closer to a full, deep respect for the intellectual values involved in learning. One criterion for the goal reads, "The school provides a rigorous education that incorporates all forms of critical thinking and inspires a lifelong love of learning." I can say with full confidence that my education has been rigorous, and that my abilities have increased exponentially in my 4 years. In addition, rather than my passion for education receding, I have noticed that I am more willing than ever to participate in real, valuable learning opportunities. Considering myself to be more analytical and logical, I also believe that Stuart Hall has pushed me to become more creative and free-thinking. Another criterion for Goal 2 reads, "The school program develops aesthetic values and the creative use of the imagination." From my visual art classes to my English classes, I have been encouraged to think outside the box on countless occasions, every time only making me more and more expressive. Stuart Hall High School, which has been my learning haven for almost 4 years, has only been open for less than 2 decades, but still feels like a proud, established education center. From our constantly updated furniture, learning spaces, and teaching methods to our dedicated faculty and staff, Stuart Hall always surprises me with the new, fresh vibe on campus. Our athletics are diverse and engaging, and our school spirit follows suit. In our greater community, Stuart Hall sends students to engage in service and give back to the less fortunate of San Francisco. In clubs on campus, students can engage in subjects they are truly passionate about and expand the scope of their education beyond the classroom. Stuart Hall has always had room to grow and aspects that might be improved, but as a whole, I am proud to say that I have been a knight, and I hope that my fellow students can say the same. I believe that Stuart Hall's commitment to education aligns closely with the United Nations Declaration on Education, which reads, "Everyone has the right to education. Education shall be free, at least in the elementary and fundamental stages. Elementary education shall be compulsory." Stuart Hall's education and all schools of the Sacred Heart push for people to be included and support every student's growth from a young age. Latin class with Mr. Scott Roos has consistently been one of my favorite classes through all 4 years at Stuart Hall. Mr. Roos livens up the challenging, ancient subject material each and every class. Goal 2, a deep respect for intellectual values, resonates strongly with my experience in Mr. Roos's program, especially this year. Honors Latin 4 is my only honors class as a senior, where I have 4 AP classes on my schedule. Because I am not studying for a test, it would be easy to think that I don't need to spend as much time on Latin. However, our unit in the first semester on the ancient economy relating to the modern economy opened my eyes to the challenges that the ancient Romans faced and how we face similar obstacles in society today. Robert Reich's Saving Capitalism truly struck a chord with me about how our society is riddled with problems. Despite our Latin class not counting for AP credit or preparing me for a cumulative test, Mr. Roos and Honors Latin 4 have encouraged me to strive for knowledge simply for the sake of knowledge and not for grades.